Hey, Yankees fans, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day today. If you love the Yankees and you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 22,000 subscribers. So if you could help us get there, that would be an absolute blessing. There's a lot to go over in today's video. Gerrit Cole, obviously we know he's going to miss the 2025 season, but the Yankees are insured. They're insured when it comes to Gerrit Cole's contract. So we're going to go over what the heck that means. Also, too, Brian Cashman made some very interesting comments. We're going to go over what he said. Firstly, let's talk about the Gerrit Cole money. So the Yankees are insured $27 million of Gerrit Cole's money. However, his contract still counts against the luxury tax. So what does that mean? That means that this insurance company gives the Yankees $27 million, right? So the Yankees got to kick back $27 million. Okay? But they still, Cole's contract for 2025, his money for 2025 still counts against the luxury tax. So that would affect the Yankees on if they add somebody, bam, that payroll is going to shoot up. Right? Especially if they add somebody with big money. So regardless that they were insured that they get that $27 million in their pockets, Gerrit Cole's contract still counts against the luxury tax. So that stinks. Jon Morosi also talked about if the Yankees could go out and trade for Dylan Cease. There were rumors that Cease would become available by San Diego, but Morosi said not likely. The Padres probably won't move Cease anyway, but it would take an absolute haul to get Cease. So I went on baseballtradevalues.com. Now I know, take that website with a grain of salt, but I think their algorithm is pretty good. And so I used it and I checked out, hey, what would it take to go for the Yankees to go and get Dylan Cease? So obviously, okay, Cease going to the Bronx. It would take at least you have to trade Spencer Jones. You have to trade Roderick Arias. And then you have to trade away a major league ready pitcher, Will Warren. And you have to throw in somebody else to equal Cease's value, Oswaldo Cabrera. So it's going to take an absolute haul to go and get Cease. And you're going to have to part with 3 of your top 10 prospects in your organization. That's a lot for Dylan Cease for a 1-year rental. We already went through that with Soto last year. So how about Michael King? There was talk going around that the Padres could make Michael King available. Well, I went over his, and it's a little less than what you would have to trade for Dylan Cease, but you would still have to trade Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones' trade value is over a 10. Arias' trade value is over an 8. Spencer Jones' higher trade value than Arias. If you were to, let's say, take Spencer Jones out and make Arias the center part of this deal, the value of this trade significantly lowers. It lowers by like 3 or 4 points. So this deal that I actually have, Jones, Will Warren, Rafael Flores, is still like 2 points shy of Michael King's value. So you're going to have to add somebody else in there anyway. It doesn't have to be Arias, but somebody of lower value, or you take Spencer Jones out, hope they want Arias, but then you're going to have to add an important piece on your major league roster outside of Will Warren. So regardless, Will Warren, he would have to go in a Dylan Cease deal, in a Michael King deal. Then it's almost like, what's the point? But at the end of the day, you're getting a proven starting pitcher. However, I'm just not sure if I would want to move on from Spencer Jones and Will Warren in the same package, but that's what would have to happen if you were to go and get one of these guys. So my point is that would be incredibly tough to do, to go and get 2 guys who, number one, they're going to be free agents at the end of the year, and 2, the Padres are going to want an absolute haul for both of them. So it's for that reason, I just don't foresee that happening. So that leads into what Cashman said to the media today. Cashman said that there's very little available on the trade market this time of year. He said that the Yankees will rely on what they have while exploring other options, but which means they're going to rely on what they have. Luxury tax penalties, Cashman said, will make it less likely for the Yankees to add outside the organization. So, like I said earlier, Cole, his contract will still count against the payroll, in which will make, no matter if the Yankees are getting that $27 million back or not, it doesn't matter. His contract is still going to count against the luxury tax, and that's where the Yankees get scared off. It is what it is. That's also why it's such a big deal that Cole went down, because if he went down, they weren't going to replace him because they still have to pay him. That's why it's such a big deal. So now you're relying on guys like Stroman, who was incredibly inconsistent last year, Will Warren, who did have a tough season. He's having a really good spring, but he had a tough year last year in the major leagues and in AAA. So you're relying on Marcus Stroman, you're relying on Will Warren, you're relying on Clark Schmidt, who did not look very good in today's game, spring training game. He did not look good, in my opinion. You're relying on Rodon and obviously Max Fried, who I feel good about. Because let's not forget, Luis Gil's going to miss a bunch of time. So the Yankees, what I got from all of this, they're not going to add outside the organization. There's not much available, and with who is available, the price is astronomical. You're going to pay a king's ransom. If you're going to go out and trade for Michael King or Dylan Cease, they better come with an extension, and we all know that the Yankees don't really do that. So at the end of the day, it doesn't shock me that the Yankees are going to stay in-house when it comes to the starting rotation. I just don't know if that's the best move. I don't know. Especially coming off of a World Series win. That's why this Cole injury hurts you so bad, because you weren't going to replace him if you were to go down, because his contract still counts against the luxury tax. And the Yankees don't want to go over. They don't want to go over anymore. Cashman said it himself. The luxury tax complicates going outside the organization. That's why, not just because Cole's the ace of this pitching staff, but because they don't want to go over the luxury tax. So if Cole goes down, the Yankees will not replace him. And it's hard, obviously, to replace Garrett Cole. Like, I totally get it. But at the same time, it's Dylan Cease that would come pretty close. Michael King, the year he had last year, a 2.9 ERA and like 30-something starts with the Padres. You're getting close. However, it just sounds like, to me, that the Yankees don't want to go down that route, and they would rather just see what they have here. Will Warren, Cookie Carrasco, Marcus Stroman. Stroman, he must be happy staying now. No shot that they're trading him, because they kind of need him. So in other news, Everson Pereira was just sent to AAA camp. Spencer Jones was sent to minor league camp. Everson was having a really great spring, hitting .350, 2 home runs, a 1090 OPS. Spencer Jones was also having a really good spring too, hitting .273, 2 home runs with a 996 OPS. Now with Everson Pereira, we knew Spencer Jones, no matter what, he would go back to minor league camp. Everson Pereira, though, he was fighting for a roster spot, and he was having a good spring, hitting .350. But Dom Smith, I think, is a guy that they really want to try. He's having a good spring, too. So they want to try Dom Smith, because that's the only reason why I could see the Yankees not carrying Everson Pereira, especially not having Giancarlo Stanton on the roster. Because you're not going to have Stanton on the roster. He'll probably miss the season. So I was actually excited maybe we could see Everson Pereira get an opportunity, and he was having a good spring. He did what he had to do. He lived up to his end of the bargain, but Dom Smith is doing so too. He's having a decent spring himself. So not to take anything away from Dom Smith, but Pereira is a very good defender out there in the outfield. And Dom Smith is a first baseman, and maybe he'll play a little bit in left field, but he's not a great fielder anyway. So I would take the defender who's hitting over the guy who's hitting but not a great defender. I would take the defender every day of the week, twice on Sunday, because guess what? They're both hitting. But Pereira has options and all that fun stuff, which makes him expendable. Now, they put Dom Smith on the 40, that they put him on the major league roster. He goes in there, has a bad month. Pereira's tearing it up down there in AAA. He did that last year. He's tearing it up down there in AAA. You DFA Dom Smith, call up Pereira, see what he has. But I would have loved to see Pereira be on the opening day roster. Now, last year, this happened with Luis Gil. And then Cole went down. They sent Gil to AAA camp. Cole went down in spring, brought Gil back, and Gil ended up winning a job in the rotation. So that could happen here. If an injury happens, Pereira, he could just get called right back up. And then he's on the opening day roster. But barring an injury, Pereira will be down there in AAA. We'll see what happens, though. I'll keep you guys posted on everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.